Hey, what's up, guys? I'm RoberOnocle, or as you better know me, Rob, and I'm here with my best friend, Mark. What's going on, Mark?
I'm going good. What's going on with you?
I'm doing pretty fine myself, thank you. Again, it's not often that people ask how I'm doing on these podcasts, so I thank you. But no, seriously, yeah, I am doing fine, thank you. But tonight we are talking about competitive games, and this is something we really haven't talked about really all that much. I mean, we touched on Team Fortress 2, and we touched on Team Fortress 2. So,
Oh,
we really haven't went anywhere with it, to be completely honest. But, oh yeah, White Rice, welcome back. Uh, we haven't really talked about it too much on this podcast. I'm like, you know what? It's a unique topic. And, over there on Twitter, I really don't talk about it too much either. Just recently, and I'm talking like a month ago, I've been really wanting to get into the TF2 competitive scene, but we'll save that for later. But I've been talking a little more comp lately. And I also tried a bit of what is it? Fortnite? What was it? Like a week or two ago. Mark, brother, back me up. When did we do Fortnite? It was the Super Bowl Sunday, right? Yeah, we know Super Bowl Sunday. I tried a bit of that, but other than that, I really haven't been really talking about competitive games all that much. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time we go for something new. Talk about how much we are or aren't better than everybody in the game. It depends. So as usual, we always start with the guest and their thoughts on whatever we're talking about for the night. So Mark, competitive games. So let's keep it simple. How's your experience been with them? Well, actually, you know what? Let's get more personal. What is your first competitive game? First one you ever tried?
my first one that I've ever tried.
Of any level of competition.
Um, I would Call of Duty. Call of Duty was my first one because
Like
my
the
dad.
OG?
Yeah, like Call of Duty 3.
Oh, okay.
So I got it, and because my friend got it, and I was like, okay, let me do it. It was the most fun I've ever had in my life. I was sitting there, I was like, oh my god, I'm playing with other people right now, and I'm just shooting them because this is when like video game. This is when did that game come out? I don't know, but it was on the
Here, let me Google it while you talk.
it was on Xbox, and we were playing it, and it was the most fun. And then right after it was Halo, and then I went from Call of Duty to Halo like in a snap. So it was Halo when I did it, and it was so much fun. Like I didn't even care about losing or winning. I just loved shooting people.
Also, it was 2006, just throwing it out there.
2006. Yeah, I was a little man, a
We're
little lad,
all little boys.
little tiny dude.
Little men.
So yeah, I had so much fun, and like my first games were really fun because I never looked at it as a competition because I just looked at it as a video game and something to do
Yeah,
to have fun. That's
right.
what.
Like, just any level of competition doesn't have to be, it's like,
Yeah,
well, if you don't do that, I'm gonna, rip your spine out. Nothing like today,
exactly.
it's not like
Yeah,
CSGO or
today,
anything.
that was back when everyone was happy.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah, that was Call of Duty 3 was like the first one, and then Halo 1 was the second one. But like
Second one. Okay.
I would have to say Halo 1 was actually my first because I only touched on Call of Duty 3 like for like a couple days, and then they got Halo, and I was like,
Okay,
ah,
so Halo was the one where you, like, actually really invested yourself. That's the first
Yes,
competitive game where you actually invested your time into it.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and yeah, that awesome game.
All right, that's cool. So, if you're all good, I could just share my thoughts on that.
All good.
On the first game thing. Okay, so when it comes to the first game, the first competitive game that I can think of that goes back to the furthest of my knowledge, I would actually have to say, I would want to say actually Super Smash Brothers, like the original 1999 game.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, no, it's
a long
back
time
when I
ago.
used to play Nintendo like 24/7. Now I hardly ever play it or touch Nintendo, but
How
back in
times change things, right?
yeah, but back in the good old days when I used to play Nintendo like all the time nonstop. Uh, Whenever my auntie's place, and we actually used to go over their house all the time, just period. Like we were always going over that. I mean, she was an awesome auntie. I mean, she used to play Street Fighter 2 back in her day. I mean, like, come on now.
Jeez.
She was a pretty cool person. She's always got games over. My brother Mark confirmed that too. But yeah, she was a really awesome auntie. Yeah, she still is good at Street Fighter 2 actually. Like I guarantee you, like I'm not sure how old she is now, but I guarantee you that she could, like, if we popped in Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, she would still whoop my butt at it. You know, just break it off from competitive games really quick, actually. It seems like my family has a history of being just pretty good at really just, like, anything involving, like, entertainment, you know, entertainment competition of any medium, because, not that, like, Capcom's Final Fight is a fighting game. It's not a competitive game at all, really, unless you're competing to get the highest score in that game, but, like, my own grandmother, no joke, is better at Final Fight than I am. Like, seriously, I don't know if you've seen Final Fight, Mark, but it's just an old Capcom beat 'em up from back in the day, but my own grandmother is much better at Final Fight than I am. Better than I could ever be. I'm like, dang, grandma. But, you know, I'm seeing her playing. And then I've seen my auntie, which is actually my grandmother's sister, and you know, they're sisters, and my auntie over here, she is really good at Street Fighter. I'm like, you guys are just good at Capcom games or something? I mean, like, geez, but, yeah, but back on topic, Super Smash Brothers, the OG, that's the first competitive game I recall ever actually playing, and, I remember having a lot of fun with it. You know, I'm like, you know, I was a bit, because I've seen, like, fighting games before, you know, or, you know, like, you beat up the guy and they pass out. I'm like, you know, I try Smash Bros. I'm like, oh, this is kind of strange, but hey, it's got Mario in it, because I used to be hooked on Mario like a drug, like you would not believe. Now I get he's just kind of a thing of the past to me now, but
oh,
I was like,
so
hey,
sad.
it's got freaking Mario in it, and Link, and Donkey Kong. I'm like, wow, this game, and
Donkey Kong, that's my
Samus,
favorite.
as I used to call her back in the day.
Samus?
Samus, yeah, we all called her Samus actually. And I mean, the announcer in Smash 1 called her Samus. I mean, like, nobody was saying it right, so it was just so, you know, it was quite a mess back then. But yeah, I remember playing that game nonstop. I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, auntie, not gonna say her name, but you know, like, hey, auntie, can we play some Smash Bros? Like, yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play some Smash Bros. And, you know, I just have a lot of good memories of that, playing that. Back in the day when me and my brother used to not believe in competing against each other and just playing on teams all the time, it was a weird relationship thing. Now we hate each other and we rather fight each other in Smash Bros. Pretty much, for the most part anyway. I mean, we still team up sometimes, but usually we just kind of fight each other in Smash Bros. Now. And to be honest, Mark is much better at Smash Bros. Than I am. Even when I played it seriously, he was just better than I was at Smash Bros. He's leagues better now. But yeah, back in those days, used to always fight all the CPUs. I mean, it's still competition to a degree, I would say. You know, even though we usually didn't fight each other. Usually, what would happen is like one of us would like fight each other, and then one of us would be winning, and then that person would get like really pissed, and then we just play on teams because we couldn't take losing. So you know that's how it rolled down back in the day. But yeah, we have since moved past it again. Now me and my brother hate each other, and we just fight each other in Smash Bros. Most of the time now. But yeah, that's pretty much as far as like my first time experience what a competitive game goes of any level, of any caliber. Yeah, Smash Bros. Is probably the first one I've tried, and I would say I had a pretty good time with it. Although I have found myself enjoying Melee, Brawl, and 4 a lot more than I did the original game. But still, I still hold the first game pretty close to my heart. Although I pretty much physically cannot play it now because I have turned off tap up jump. So now when I go back and play the original, I'm like, I can't turn off tap up jump, so I just kind of ignore it now.
Oh.
Because I'm like, this does not appease to my current play style. So yeah, I have sensed that I don't really see myself going back to play that one. Not because I got anything against it. I would like to get back into it, but I kind of can't because I'm not going to go back to tap up jump. I'm good on that.
You know, Brawl was always going to be my favorite, just because it was my first one that I ever played.
Okay.
And I love the theme song of it, and I love the level where it's like space in the background, and God, I always used to go to my friend's house right next door, and we'd play it all day.
Yeah, Brawl's a game I've had. Even though we played it because we got it in 2011, and we only had it up until Smash 4 came out, which, I'll talk about Smash 4 in a little bit, but I remember getting Brawl. We only had it for about 3 years until Smash 4 came out. In 2014. But you would have sworn we hadn't played that game since 2008 or 7, whenever it first came out. You could have sworn because we played that game like a drug. Like, whether it was fighting each other or whether it was fighting other CPUs, we were playing that game all the time. And no, it's not just for the subspace emissary like everybody likes to assume. It was because of, believe it or not, the custom stage creator. Because, as long as you had like a decently sized SD card, you could make like a crap ton of levels. Like, we're talking a lot of levels. Like, all in all, I would say about 50 or 60 levels in total over the course of those 3 years. Like, we were pretty much always making levels. Heck, probably even more than that, because we were playing Brawl on 2 different systems. I know it gets a bit weird. We had it on 2 different Wiis, and we also made other stages on that one, so probably even more than that, because we made a lot of custom stages on it. And so, like, even though, it kept Brawl from becoming stale, because as long as we had at least a little bit of creativity, we could just keep making levels and just keep making them over and over again. Always had a new environment to fight in. And that just never got old to us. And honestly, if I don't have Brawl anymore, but if I still had Super Smash Bros. Brawl now, guaranteed I would probably be still making stages on that. I would actually, now I want to play some Brawl actually, but just to do that, because it really was some good times. Now, there's a Subspace Emissary, which I will say is, of course, the custom stage creator is not going to win over everybody, of course, but the Subspace Emissary, I would say, is probably what you probably should get Brawl for the most, because the issue with Brawl is the fact that, as everybody's mentioned a million times, it has severe balancing issues out of the wazoo, and tripping, which, that kind of ruins competition, any serious competition, because of uncontrollable RNG, that you can't even turn off the tripping. I thought that was like the most idiotic thing. I'm like, why can't I turn, like, it's just a random inconvenience, and it just completely ruins any combo you're shooting for. It's just like, you tripped, and I can understand why people don't like Brawl for that. Really, for that one reason, because tripping just completely ruins the competitive scene, that any potential competition that Brawl could have had.
I never knew you can trip people.
Now, you can't trip people, but you just randomly trip on your own. Like, you're just running, and then maybe try to make a turn, just like, whoops, and then just trip and fall.
That's funny. I never knew that.
Wow. Yeah, or maybe if you take off in a sudden sprint, your character trips. It was just random, and I can understand why people did not like Brawl for that. Like, I'm pretty sure now that I point that out, if you go back and play Brawl, you'll realize that, yeah, they do.
Why so serious? Like, that's just a goofy thing, Who cares, right?
It's for people who like, because the first game and Melee had a pretty strong competitive scene. In unaffected, there were no external sources affecting the gameplay. It's like Random Chris in Team Fortress 2. There's no skill behind that. And somebody is getting screwed over in the process. We will talk about TF2 in a little bit, of course. But just think of it that way. It's just kind of like, it's just a random inconvenience. In this case, it's on the inputter's part, because it's just frustrating. Because just think about it. You're playing Brawl in a serious level, right? And you're playing Captain Falcon. You're Neo justicing them, and you're doing back airs on. You're doing all good, and like this person cannot get out of it, and then you trip. That's it. The combo's over. You didn't stop the combo. The game stopped the combo when it felt like it. And Brawl will probably forever be my favorite one because of the custom stage creator. I know that might be slightly biased, but I just really had too good of a time with that to really... all in all, we probably had at least over 1,000 hours in Brawl. Like, we had some sleepless nights with Brawl. Like, I really can't even describe just how much time we sank into that 3 years of Brawl. Like it's crazy just how much time we sank into that game.
When I got the game, or when my friends got the game, they had a Wii when I first met them, and that was I moved in there like 2007. So it was 2007, and 2008 is when they got it. So we played that for about like 3 years, just like, well, yeah, 3 years, and
Pretty much
then
like we did, yeah.
yeah, but then it broke, and I'm like, not the game, the Wii did, and then
Oh,
it
okay.
didn't do it.
I
I
was like,
mean,
you
we
could have
couldn't.
always just bought another Brawl.
No, the entire Wii broke. We're like, okay. I think it's because. Okay, well, here's like a little off thing. My friend Justin, it was always me, Justin, his sister, and then somebody else.
Right.
But it was always us three playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So one time we were playing Rock Band, and freaking Justin's dumb self, he was playing, and he he tried to do the little like turn on star power, and his freaking neck strap snapped, and it went off and nailed the Wii. So it was just
God, how hard did he throw it?
he was doing too much with it. He was trying to be funny, and then he ended up breaking the Wii. Anyway, that was funny.
He must have threw
But
that
yeah.
pretty hard.
Yeah, he's strong for no reason. Like, he didn't even work. Anyway, in those 3 years we played all the time. But like, the difference is we couldn't like play it for a while because his dad would say, "Hey, go outside," because it's nice outside. So I'm like, "Oh, fine,
All
God,
right,
why can't we
Dad.
just play? Why can't we just play it? So, and then like when it'd be snowy, he'd be like, "Go outside, look at all that beautiful snow." I'm like, I don't want to go outside.
Okay, yeah, you couldn't have told me to go outside and play in the snow. I hate the snow, man. I'm like, go outside, no.
he was
It's
he
too
was
cold
so
out
hell
there.
bent. He was so hell bent to try to get us to play outside, because I don't know.
In the springtime and summertime, though, okay. I mean, not that my dad tried to make me go out in the snow anyway. That's just mean. But I don't think anybody. I think my entire bloodline like despises the snow. Like, well, with the exception of my granddad, because he said he's had days where he used to play. Him and his siblings to play in the snow all the time. But that's a different kind of competition. That's just a snowball fight. That's an entirely different competition in and of itself. Anyway, getting back to the main topic here about Smash Bros and whatnot. So yeah, eventually moved on to Smash 4, and I do like Smash 4. I really do. It's a good game. I think it is a genuinely pretty good game. Again, I got kind of bored with it, but it's not a problem with the game. It's just a problem with me. Fighting games just don't hold my attention that well to begin with, excluding Brawl. But that's for another reason. But my whole thing, and I thought this was just a complete deal breaker, and that is the fact that they changed up the way the custom stage creator worked in 4, but it ain't like a petty little minor change. Like, the way they changed it was an overhaul, and to be frank, I think it's quite terrible. I mean, you can do some pretty cool things with it, do not get me wrong, but my biggest issue with Smash 4's custom stage creator is the fact that, well, one, it runs pretty much strictly off of the stylus, and that kind of bothers me because I'm like, why can't I just use the D-pad or the left analog stick? I don't see what the problem is there. So that already bugged me. But it's the fact that it's a very unstable rehaul. Or rehaul overall. Rehaul. My head, I'm sorry guys, my head hurts and I ain't feeling it. But
Jesus.
yeah, I ain't feeling the greatest. But to get back to Smash 4, I really didn't like how they overhauled it. Because, again, like I said, you had to use the stylus, pretty much strictly the stylus. Really had no room to use anything else, and like I said, it was really unstable. And to get back on that, the thing is, the biggest issue with that is, well, one, the fact that it seems like when you try to work with it sometimes it would just outright deny what you did, but other times, and this is just, I don't even know how Nintendo overlooked this, but it's the fact that the communication, the feedback to the player is so poor in Smash 4's version. Say you're making like a weird, kind of complex and kind of large design. Like, you're trying to get creative with the level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting pretty creative with it. You're trying to like make weird bumps in the terrain, And then you get to the end of it, you're drawing it out, and you get to the end where you're reconnecting all of it to bring it all back together, and then it says, like, this shape can't be made. But, see, the thing that bothers me about that, though, is that the game doesn't alert you at any point when you're drawing it out that that shape cannot be made. And I don't know, but that just really, really killed my vibe to play that game already. Because, I mean, when I went out to, play some Smash 4, I'm like, dude, I'm going to make even more stages than before. Are you kidding me? Like, even, like, way more than double the characters from Brawl. Custom abilities so I can change how I fight and, increase the spectrum of possibilities, I'm like, because when I saw Smash 4, I'm like, dude, I'm going to soar with this game. And then I saw what they did with their rehaul, and it really just turned me off from the game. And I know it was kind of sad, because I'm like, I look at Brawl, I'm like, man, Brawl is so good, but it has all the, it gets me in this weird mix feel. I'm like, I want to play Smash 4 because it has all these extra characters in it, but I want to play Brawl because while it has, like, not even half of what 4 has, its custom stage creator is really good. And for me, the competition was built around my creativity. Because I'm like, I can create this new environment to fight in. I can do this, I can do that. It's like the competition, the competitive scene for me was kind of creating my own competitive scene, if that makes sense, in Brawl. And that's what I found to be genuinely enjoyable from it. And for 4 to not really take that away, but to just rearrange it in such a state where it's just needlessly difficult to work with, it's just kind of like, it kind of broke my heart a little bit. But, I mean, I did shoot for an alternative for a temporary amount of time. I used to, I'm going to say from about late 2015 to late 2016, actually. Used to play a lot of competitive Smash in Smash 4. Used to play it kind of seriously, but, they kind of got to a certain point where it couldn't replicate that feeling that I had with Brawl anymore. And I was like, you know what? It's kind of time to let go. Like, sorry, Smash Bros. It's just kind of...
So sad.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what, Smash Bros? It's like... I know, like, it just changed a few things, but I'm just kind of like, you know what? This ain't what I played. Like, starting with Brawl, this ain't what I came to play Smash Bros. For anymore. I came in to have some good... casual, the competitive scene is built around your creativity, kind of fun with it, and for that to be kind of sapped in a sense into a state that just like is not as user friendly and just doesn't work as well as it was before, kind of just gave up on it. I can actually I can remember the last competitive game I played in Smash 4 was actually on the very last day of 2016. Like, I'm talking like December 31st. And it's playing with my buddy Keon, actually, at very last game. I forgot who I was playing. I don't want to say Captain Falcon, but we were playing, and he was playing as Ganondorf, actually. Grabbed me with his side B, dropped me off the stage, killed me, and he won the game in a cheap fashion, but he killed me, and since then I have never once played Smash Bros. Seriously anymore. I come in every once in a while, like, because now my brother mods Smash Bros. So the competitive scene in this one is kind of based on his modding scene with it, which I guess it kind of feels like somewhat of a return to form, but it doesn't match that flexibility, if that makes sense. Either the creativity is technically heightened, or there's the variety rather. And again, it just kind of can reflect. What I like to play Smash Bros. For. I mean, because to me, albeit Brawl from a competitive standpoint was a complete downgrade from Super Smash Bros. Melee. In terms of, like, what I like to play Smash Bros. For, a casual, competitive experience, like, Brawl defined Smash Bros. For me. And, yeah. So that is my tale of Rob's journey with Smash Brothers, and now he's just kind of done with it now.
My ending was just so abrupt. Just a guitar throw.
You weren't expecting a backstory, were you? You weren't expecting a backstory this podcast.
No, I was not. My story of Smash Bros. Had a blast. until Justin decided to do a guitar whip, and that's the end of the story. Like, that was it.
Meanwhile, I'm me over here. I've got the 5 stages of grief.
Right? What in the world, dude? I was not ready for that.
So yeah,
Jeez.
I'm just kind of done with Smash Bros. Now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about Call of Duty. You have any more stories or anything to talk about? Because I know you, I know me versus you. You've played way more Call of Duty games than I have. The 5
Yeah.
stages of Smash.
I just read that and I giggled a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, the only competitive scene, like actually competitive scene that I've ever been to was the Call of Duty one, because it was a while. Like, I played Call of Duty for a while before I ran into this, but I started playing Call of Duty like actually online. It was on Xbox 360. It was Modern Warfare 2, and then somehow that broke, and then my dad got it for the PS3, so we started playing that. And then my dad got another PS3, and then he got another copy of it, so me and him could play at the same time. And then he made a whole bunch of friends, and I was just joining in, whatever. And then, what was the next one after that? Modern Warfare 2, wasn't it Black Ops?
After Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, what was it?
Modern Warfare 2 was 2009, so Black Ops was afterwards, because Black Ops 1 was 2010, and then Modern Warfare 3 followed in 2011.
Got you. Okay, so when did okay, so then we played Black Ops 1, and that was awesome. You can create your own emblem. There's napalm. You got all, like, the weapons were cool, all that type of stuff. And then it went to Modern Warfare 3, and that was awesome. I love that one, because forgot why.
Heard that one was really good.
It was a good one. It was just all around good one, good maps, good everything. And after that was Black Ops 2. Oh Lord.
Okay. So this is like the chronology. I know the chronology from Black Ops, or no, not Black Ops, from 3 onwards. So 2006, Call of Duty 3, 2007, Modern Warfare, 2008. Wasn't that World at War? I want to. No, that sounds wrong.
World at War was before Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Well, Modern Warfare was Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So you had so let's just go to 2009, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. So you had 2009, Modern Warfare 2, 2010, Black Ops 2011, Modern Warfare 3, 2012, Black Ops 2, 2013, okay. Ghost 14, Advanced 15, Black Ops 3, 16, Infinite, 17, World War 2, and apparently Black Ops 4 is rumored for 2018. So
Jesus. Yeah, well, I played all the way. For the Call of Duty people, I started playing at Modern Warfare 2, and that was
in terms of competition.
Well, no. In terms of competition, was Black Ops 2 when Clan Wars started. There was this thing where you can create your clan, and then you participate in the Clan Wars. And what you did in the Clan Wars was, you played in it. And you had to take different types of territory and whatever in like certain game modes, and it was touching on that in Black Ops 2, and it took off when it got to Ghost. It was ridiculous with the Clan Wars, and it was my dad and all of his adult friends. I was the only kid. It was me and some other girl that was kind of my age, and me and her related because we're the same age or whatever. And Clan Wars, you gotta play different game modes, and you gotta win as much. You gotta win, and when you win, there's a leaderboard, and the more you win, the higher you go, and then you gotta keep your wins up above everybody else. And if you had a full party, if you have a full party of 6, and you guys win the game, you get 6 wins. So then it goes up on the leaderboard, boom.
Nice.
So it was constantly. The competitive scene was so stressful for me, because it was just you push one down, the other one comes up, and then these come up, because we were we're actually eligible to like, win the entire thing,
Okay.
for like the season. But like it just like we one time we held down all of them, and like in like a split second we lost three of them, so we had to like do it all over again. And I was like, oh my god. And it was getting to the point to where like I would come home from school and my dad would call me. He's like, all right, at 4 o'clock I'm gonna need you to play kill confirmed and domination. I'm like, all right. He said, yeah, Christy and blah 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 and so will be online, so make sure you get in the party with them. I'm like, oh. Okay, so it was like dead serious, and it got into the point to where I was not having fun anymore. I was like, it was
Getting too serious for you?
it was getting too serious. Like competitive, I I hate playing competitive games. Like I like playing competitive, but I hate playing competitively. I hate that. I just hate it so much because like it's
I think there's a good and a bad competitive. Because I mean, there's some things where you can play competitive, but you're playing it just to have fun. You're just having a more, you just prefer the more, you just prefer a more because typically with competitive you have a more balanced environment and all that. You just prefer a more, like the more down to earth, you know, test of skills rather. But you're
yeah.
having
I
fun just
just
having your skills tested. But in your case, it sounds like it was pretty much being turned into a job, not so much a test of skill. It's just kind of like we
yeah
gotta. I mean, well, it is a test of skill anyway. But it's just kind of like you're prioritizing on that part so much. It's almost like
yeah
it's taken away from it. At least that's what
yeah
I'm getting from it, or taken away
yeah.
from the fun.
It's really just that's what made me not like competitive. It was that clan war stuff because I had to take it so seriously, and I was actually getting mad because like if someone killed me, I would actually genuinely get mad at it, and I was like, what is wrong with me? And I would, it was such a bad time. And then when I finally quit Call of Duty, and my dad did it too because he was like, I'm done, and we both quit, and we were like, okay. And then I started playing games casually again. I just started, I had a lot of fun. Like I just load up a game and then just start playing for just whatever. Like there's nothing on the line. There's no like competitive. There's no rank to keep. There's no anything. I always have a fun time, and then that's why I always make. That's why I always make. What was I about to say? I was about to say something. Well, that's why I always. But that's why I always make fun of the people that get so upset. I'm like, what are you getting so upset for? And then they get upset at me, and then I'm like, ooh, I get back at them. But yeah, video games are to me are supposed to be just meant purely for fun. And I understand if you want to be all serious about it, but then if you're getting so serious about it to the point to where your emotions are coming into play, and you're trying to hurt people or whatever, like emotionally, of course, is you need to stop.
Yeah, but you
You
got
need to
stuff
quit.
like Smash Bros. Where somebody threw their controller, like they were playing melee. They like, or it was either melee or four, and I read up on it. Like they had this dude, he had lost the game, right? And he took his GameCube controller and he had threw it on the ground so hard that the GameCube controller got smashed into pieces. Like he threw it really hard and
Oh my
punched a
god.
hole in the wall and stormed out. I'm like, yeah, see, like that. I mean, I kind of have a limit on like, because competition is fun for me in games, but there's kind of a certain point. I'm just kind of like, no, I won't go that far. Like for me, and I've talked to this and my friend Ken about this before, but I would love a competitive Monster Hunter game. We've been talking about this since 2016, maybe late 2015, but I want to say 2016 sounds about right. I know we were definitely talking about 2016 because Monster Hunter just has like it has a wide enough spectrum to where you could make a competitive game out of it. You really could, and if that were a thing, just like I locked you into World, you're getting that competitive Monster Hunter game if it were to be a thing. But
Oh my god.
but
What do you mean? Like you fight each other?
yeah, like you were fighting
Oh,
each other
okay.
with it, because the spectrum of weapons and the techniques because all the techniques you can make out of weapons and whatnot, you can make a competitive scene out of that. Like you could actually turn. Of course, with some balancing, because some weapons would overpower others really badly. But I mean, other than that, I think it could actually make a good competitive scene if there was a PvP Monster Hunter game. But that's just a theoretical thing. I don't think Capcom will ever do that. But if they ever did, I would probably get that day one. Guaranteed, I would probably get that. Anyway, don't worry about that.
Not very Robert of you.
You gotta love filler words. But yeah. So let's talk about Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2, that game, like when you told me to get it, I'm like, okay, so I got it. And I was very confused. I was very confused on what I was doing, and I was having a fun time. When I started getting good at it, I was still having a fun time because I was playing casually like I normally do. Later, like much later, Meet Your Match comes out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And I stick to casual, but I saw this competitive thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to go play competitive, and I immediately didn't like it because people were just salt bags, and there was just it was just too serious for me. It's gonna be the same thing over. I just don't like competitive. Just Call of Duty just soiled it all for me. But yeah, it's like I kind of want to get into it, but it's just like at the same time, I was like, can I just? I want to stick to casual, or I kind of want to stick to just playing, just relaxed. You don't have to, stress yourself out on getting kills or getting a point or capturing the intelligence or whatever you're doing. But Team Fortress 2, if I were to go to competitive, that's the game I would do it in, because I already sunk a whole bunch of hours, and I gotta be somewhat good at it,
Right? Yeah. Sunk all that time into it, and I've already had a whole video going over my whole experience with TF2 and how I was actually almost on the verge of quitting the game completely. Really came really close in 2016 to just dropping that game, because up until that point, I really didn't have that good of hardware, and I'm actually fishing for what I was talking about with TF2 comp while I'm speaking, but yeah, I always had up until 2016, mid 2016, I didn't really have the best PC system, so I could never really get that good at TF2 because the hardware limited me, because it was always lagging, or there was just other issues I didn't really realize, and I just kind of lost the drive to play TF2 because I'm really not getting any better at the game. And I mean, right. I'm a pretty persistent fellow too. I mean, keep in mind at this point I had sunk shut up. I had sank over 1,000 hours into the game at that point. But I was just kind of getting to the point where I'm kind of what's the point,
Yeah.
Just kind of losing the drive to play it. I'm like, it seems like I'm just kind of just wasting my time with it. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I felt really directionless with it, but then I started taking time to understand the game more, and I picked up Scout, finally settled on a main, and I've been really enjoying it a lot more since.
Wait, most importantly, you got a beefy computer, like a monster of a computer.
Yeah, that, of course that part came in
in my opinion, that was your main thing. That's why you almost quit that computer that you're playing on.
Yeah,
you would randomly spike up to 1,500 ping, out of nowhere, and you would just not be able to move for about 20 minutes. And TF2 is very fast paced, and but by the time you would be done, the game would be over. So it also, you need to react fast, and if you're lagging,
if it's a fast-paced game and you have a slow-paced PC, it kind of doesn't go together.
That, in my opinion, was what crippled you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said that, in my mind, is what crippled your experience.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt about that. Once I got past that, I mean, you saw how far I soared.
Yeah, you took off.
Once I got a BVC, I'm like, wow, I'm actually kind of good at this game, Which is why I was always playing on a bunch of crappy 2-fort maps, because 2-fort was the only map that wasn't too demanding for my PC for some reason. Went any further than that, and I just could not do it. So yeah. So once I moved past that, by the way, I'll be talking about 2-fort in a little. Actually, no. Let's talk about 2-fort right now and why I don't think that is a terrible map in terms of just any levels of competition. Period. And Actually, I really didn't notice this too much until I actually watched an Uncle Dane video about him talking about Capture the Flag and why it is such a terrible game mode for Team Fortress 2. See, in terms of competition in Team Fortress 2, Capture the Flag is just it's a rock paper scissors like esque mode in Team Fortress 2, and it's pretty much built on nonsense. Because see, this is the way it works. See, there are too many choke point areas, and like pretty much any any CTF map, there are way too many choke point areas. There are too many choke
Especially
areas.
2 Fort.
Yeah, 2 Fort is by far the worst offender of that.
That little courtyard, horrible.
Yeah,
it's the worst one.
Yeah, that. You got 2 engineers in there. Engineers, they could lock that down easily.
Yeah, and Pybro, you're not getting through.
Pybro, yeah, you were basically impenetrable.
Right.
Throw in a medic in there, and yeah, good luck getting past that.
Or a brass piece heavy, whatever.
Or yeah, whatever you had. It was always just really lopsided. But there was that, and the thing with Capture the Flag too, at least in a casual environment, especially if that Pybro is Varen.
Yeah, I'm just reaching out to him.
Yeah, he's he's pretty good. Yeah. So the thing is too, at least in a casual environment, when somebody picked up the freaking briefcase in 2 Fort, stop everything. Everybody's going to that one person who has the briefcase, and this is what happens. Everybody stops everything. They go through hell and high water to get to that one person. They kill them, and then they sit there for like a minute just staring at the briefcase. Oh, you come in there, bam! All right, you're not getting my briefcase. And then you have that one scout that knows how to use the force nature. Oops, excuse me, pardon the Red Sea. Grabs the briefcase, gets like 3 seconds of glory, and gets popped up by a sniper. And the cycle repeats, and then everybody's staring at the briefcase again. Turbine is by far the worst offender of this, because the map is just airy and spacey enough to where everybody's either here or they're there, and oh my goodness, and Valve has the nerve to make the mode not timed, so this can go on for literally hours before the match finally finishes. Like, Capture the Flag can go on for hours. Like, that's boring. I'm sorry. That is not a good time. I mean, Mark, I don't know what you're laughing about, but like
I'm laughing at you.
5 hours of just staring at a briefcase just spin around while like everybody huddles up around it. You always got the same. It's always the same combo too. It's like a heavy, a medic, that one engineer with the level 1 sentry, and like that spy that's taken out of the corner, and that freaking demo man that only uses the sticky bomb launcher. That's what it's like.
Oh my god!
All the time. And then you got that one scout that's death matching all over the place, not even focused on the objective at all.
God, Robert, you're just.
You're laughing because it's true.
That and how upset you're getting.
It's not a good mode. It's really not.
Gosh, Robert is triggered by this game mode, especially when you got the turbine. I already knew you were gonna get mad because every time it becomes a subject, you get upset.
This is the thing is, like, we're playing TF2. We go into turbine. Like the moment I see you're going to turbine, I'm like, all right, I'm clicking that cancel button. I'm like, I ain't going to turbine. Nope, I ain't going there. Because, I mean, Turbine is by far it's the messiest map of the bunch. Like, I have no hesitation saying that Turbine is the worst map in Team Fortress 2. Out of, like, the 50-plus maps that the game has, Turbine is by far, out of all of the trash, the worst map in that game. It is on so many levels wrong. It just is. Also, it's too easy for snipers and demomen to camp you on that map. It just is. It's somehow worse than 2 Fort, and 2 Fort was already pretty bad. Now, in a casual... In Turbine, one engineer can actually hold down the fort. I've seen this demonstrated by
plenty of them, including our friend Grim. Is like you have one good sentry's position, and nobody can take it out. like what is this?
Yeah, the sentry gun just covers too much.
Right, and then you got we can flank on the vent. No, you can cover that. Like the vent drops you in a weird place. Like what is that? you know.
But you know what was crazy though? I went
What?
into a comp sixes match in Team Fortress 2, and we went to Turbine. The match was over in like 20 minutes. That's good. That is good. Because I mean, at least with a competitive team, their focus is all right. Let's work together, and what works best. Not let's all storm for the briefcase like everybody in freaking casual likes to do. Like it's actually over, and people are actually putting a lot of thought into it. I mean, I still don't like CTF even in comp because I just don't like CTF. Period. But not anymore anyway. Once I realized, I mean, I really didn't like it all. I was starting to grow to hate it already, but the Uncle Dane videos, like it put the final nail in the coffin. I'm like, yeah, this is a bad game mode, all in all, like it's just, unless you just feel like team deathmatching, like that's kind of all I think it's good for, to be completely honest. So moving past that and getting to the competitive scene of Team Fortress 2, sixes, because that's the official game mode that Valve will support. It's sixes, not Highlander. Highlander is cool and all, but as a lot of people have pointed out, Highlander is severely flawed, as in everybody has to play the same class no matter what, even if a certain player is better at doing something as another class. If they're better at filling a certain role, but they can't do that because they're playing Highlander and they cannot switch because it's Highlander. And there's also another YouTuber, Funk, who I actually watch quite a bit, but he was talking about competitive Team Fortress 2 and how Highlander would be problematic on the money side, because if you're doing like tournaments in Team Fortress 2, like Funk said, that's 6 more chairs you gotta fill in, because that's 3 chairs on this side, 3 chairs on that side. You gotta pay for the flight for everybody, and that's just financial. It's just a hassle. That's really it. It's a mess. And again, even if they introduce Highlander into Team Fortress 2, like a lot of people, I've seen a lot of pretty good TF2 players I've seen say it really wouldn't work because, well, for one, we all know the TF2 community. Even in competitive, nobody really likes to stay as one class the entire time. Most players do. I mean, even competitive players, they don't like to stay as the one class the entire time. If something's got to shift, and if somebody is better at it, they want to switch at it, or switch to that class. But in Highlander, you can't do that because it's got to be 9 on each class. And again, it just kind of and to me, Highlander kind of seeps back a little bit into why I don't like casual as much as I used to. And I'm sorry, Mark, I'm not talking too much. I mean, you want to throw anything out there?
Keep going, dude.
Okay, I was just making sure. So, and it's strange. So just earlier this year, I just started trying some sixes in Team Fortress 2. Because I was a bit of the same way with competitive. I'm like, competitive TF2. That's really not my problem. I just kind of like, it's out there. I think I just stick with my casual Team Fortress 2. And I tried competitive one time, kind of didn't like it. Similar to actually what you said, Mark, where you said it was a serious environment. Got kind of uncomfortable. It was like, yeah, I'd rather stick to casual. So earlier this year, I tried out some competitive Team Fortress 2. I actually tried to play it seriously. Took time to understand what's, because I honestly, before then, I didn't even know what sixes meant. Like, I was like, sixes? What does that mean? That was comp terms. And once I got to really understand, the meta of sixes, what classes work best with it. Not that it matters if you're playing Spy or Pyro, which are bottom tier in sixes or tier 2 competitive, really in general, don't feel discouraged. I mean, if you're a Pyro or Spy main, just keep playing Pyro or Spy. I'm not trying to let the meta put you down, but once I really understood, the priorities of each class and what role they're supposed to fill, and how you're actually strategizing with your teammates, and you're like, all right, I need somebody to take care of that, and someone like, okay, I got that covered. They do it like, all right, we got this point secured or something like that, or me as a scout anyway, because I like to play scout in sixes because of course I'm a scout main and that's the class I play best. And someone like, hey, we need somebody to take care of that sniper or that medic or that heavy or whoever it is. I'm like, all right, I got it. I go over there, bam, bam. All right, I'll get on the mic. I'm like, all right, got it covered. And then we would, seize a point or whatever we were doing, and we move on. But like the thing is that the thing with sixes is that it's so coordinated, and like once you really take time to understand, once you move past all the random crits and all the random bullet spread and whatnot. Once you realize that it's just a complete down to earth, like everybody's communicating, everybody knows what because like if you're playing casual in Team Fortress 2, usually you'll have a bunch of AFK people, usually like 3 or 4 of them. You'll have that one dude that does not give a crap about the objective at all. Like, he's just not focused at all. He's that one Rancho Relaxo engineer. Y'all are out there. We all know who you are. we all know what you guys are. You got that. You usually got that one Hoovy. You got that one person where they're playing as a class and they are going to freaking play as that class whether you like it or not. And
it's usually a spy or a sniper.
Yeah. Or that one guy that thinks he's good.
Oh yeah.
It's like one person mentioned once I was looking in the comments section. Casual is a mode where going all heavy, going all medic, going all even scout, going all sniper, going all one class is a viable option in casual. And in a game called Team Fortress 2, which is supposed to utilize all of the 9 classes, that's actually very bad. And I'm not really trying to talk down casual. Like, if you enjoy casual, keep enjoying it. That's perfectly fine. But, the thing is that, and I was actually talking about this on Twitter, and, this thing kind of confused me, and I'll just read it directly off of here. And I was saying, in quotes, competitive sixes in Team Fortress 2 is far too different from casual and should be a part of the game. And I was saying, in a sarcastic tone, I was like, I know, right? It actually feels like everybody's playing the game as a team in Team Fortress 2. The horror, And I was talking to this guy called Claylix, really cool guy, by the way. But he made his comment talking about people who just want to play by themselves, and I had commented, and I said 12's casual because it is 12's because 12v12. 12's casual is beyond unbalanced and has such an unfocused and unwilling environment, and it's not even funny. Scout mains like me have it the worst because usually not everybody's going scout. That's just how it goes in casual. But yeah, every once in a while you'll see that happen, but it's pretty rare. But I was saying, scout mains like me have it the worst because not only does prioritizing hardly matter, because killing 1 out of 12 players barely makes a difference. It just really doesn't make that much of a difference. But the class may not even be functional at all because there can be literally too much going on at once. Because, again, so you're playing scout, right? You're doing good, you're trying to play scout, you're prioritizing and all that. What happens if the entire enemy team goes all engineer in a mode where that is a viable option? Scout literally does not work anymore. Like, as a class, it stops working. And again, and if you're a soldier, you love rocket jumping. Everybody goes, if everybody goes, heavy or engineer, or even sniper, again, your class stops becoming functional. And again with heavy, all everybody has to do is just go sniper or spy. The class stops functioning. The only class that does not stop functioning in pretty much any situation is the medic, and that's because he's a top tier class. And again, I really didn't notice any of this before I actually started, really trying to invest into the competitive side of Team Fortress 2. And I realized that, that Team Fortress 2, and I could have sworn I responded to this guy some more. But, the thing about Team Fortress 2's casual to me is that it has such an unfocused and such an unwilling environment. And unfocused, unbalanced, and unwilling environment. And once it comes to my attention that, Team Fortress 2 is not really focusing on the aspect of playing as a team, that's an issue because I mean, even then, when you look at Team Fortress 1 and Team Fortress Classic, I mean, technically speaking, their competitive scene is doing better. Even though those games are pretty much dead because Team Fortress 2 is a thing. But as far as like their competitive scene goes, because it's a more balanced and at least to the best of my knowledge, it's a pretty balanced and there's no random bullet spread nonsense. At least I don't think there's any random bullet spread. It might be, but I won't try to confidently say that. But yeah, if anything, going on one class isn't that viable of an option as it is in Team Fortress 2. Because Team Fortress 2 has so many weapons out of the wazoo that you can make do with like unbalancing, doing a really unbalanced match in a casual. But yeah, you have that. But I mean, Team Fortress 2 it's really ignoring the team part of its name. And I really don't want to be that guy, but Team Fortress 2 is kind of missing the point of its philosophy, and that's working as a team. Like in Counter-Strike, you can lone wolf that. I mean, I know, Mark, you've seen it. You got that one dude that has like an AWP or a scout, and he's just eating everybody's heads. You can't do that. Or you're not supposed to do that anyway in Team Fortress 2. Well, you can't really lone wolf in Team Fortress 2. That just kind of.
Well, I mean, if you're that one soldier with like the black bunny hat, and you're just rocket jumping everywhere, I mean, you can.
If you're that one soldier with the black box in the Conqueror, then yeah, you could probably lone wolf it, but we don't talk about that.
No, I'm talking about those ones that have like a Hail Zone, like golden rocket launcher with like that stupid little cut off bunny head, and it's painted black, and it's like it got a black cloud over or something, and it's always that stupid bunny head. If they have that and they have like the little bandana on, it's over. Like they're so good.
Soldier that knows every freaking like hitbox of the map and knows precisely where they can rocket jump and know exactly where they'll land. Yeah. Those soldiers, they can lone wolf it. But I mean, again, lone wolfing, like you'll have what you call roamers in Team Fortress 2 in this comp, and that works. But I mean, again, you kind of just can't lone wolf it in competitive. It doesn't really work like that. I mean, you have that one soldier where he's rocket jumping all over the place, but I mean, even again for something like that in competitive, especially where crits are no longer something that a good soldier that can fall back on. Again, I mean, all it takes is really just a good medic, with Uber, and call it a day. Like, because I mean, again, even if you have Uber, it doesn't really matter how good that soldier is. I mean, he might be able to get himself out of a situation pretty good, but at that point, he's really not making a difference. He's just bouncing around the map,
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to knock any good soldiers. Because I mean, you got some good soldiers that are very focused and they bounce on the map and they know what they're doing and they know their objective. And I'm not trying to knock you guys. You guys are still awesome. Don't get me wrong. But the soldiers that like just kind of bounce around all over the place, pretty much untouchable, kill somebody, bounce around. Yeah, you're actually kind of useless. I hate to break it to you, but because usually they're just messing around. So
right.
They're just professional players that bounce around. But I mean, again, I do respect a good soldier. But to get back to comp Team Fortress 2, because I know I'm really going hard with that right now. And let's see how much time we're going on right now. Just wanna we're
about an hour.
Yeah, we're going on about an hour. But yeah, with comp Team Fortress 2, like to me, playing 6's Team Fortress 2, you're playing it as a team, and you're working together. You got an objective, and you want to get the job done. And it's strange how in just a matter of like a few matches that I actually got going, in Team Fortress 2's honestly horrible competitive scene at the moment with its algorithm is just so flawed and is so bad and it needs some working, let's be honest. But the few matches I got going with it, once I understood that, like I'm like, this is actually pretty fun. And again, especially for a scout main like me, my class main actually has a role and a purpose, and it can fulfill that. Actually, some people actually argue that scout is actually kind of overpowered in competitive.
Yeah, that freaking meat shot is
that meat shot is deadly. Like if you know what you're doing, you can easily outclass like pretty much any class actually.
Yeah, positioning
outside of medic, of course, because medic has Uber. That is the one thing scout kind of can't get past. But it's kind of like Uncle Dane pointed out too. A scout that's being pocketed by a medic and comp is actually kind of overpowered. Because not only is he a tier 2 class, so he's pretty high up there, but again, like we already said, he's already kind of overpowered to a certain degree because of just how fast and deadly he is and how much of a clutch character he is. You uber him, and well, now that the medic for every meta gun can catch up to Scout in no time flat.
I was about to mention that, like, they can use Scout as a car now, you can walk as fast as a Scout. So even if you don't, like, you used to only have to have the quick fix, but now you can do it with any type of gun.
You can do it with Uber.
Yeah,
so it's actually
and if you Uber him and you can run as fast as him, you can keep up with him and then just be devastating. Yeah. Which I'm maybe you and Grim should try that one day. Just decimate the entire room. But yeah, like it. I never thought of that as an Ubered Scout. Like if a Scout knows how to do that strafe aiming, or just know how to land hits however he wants to.
Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty good Scout when it comes to strafe aiming and whatnot.
So
if you in a sixes environment, if you Uber me, I'm probably gonna sweep the floor with anybody. Not to try to, I'm really not trying to toot my own horn here. Scout is a pretty strong class in competitive, and that's just really the truth. And a Scout that's as good as me can do the same thing. Like, you'll just wipe the floor with everybody, and I can understand why people kind of want them to nerf medic and remove that ability, because I would say maybe keep it in casual, but for competitive you probably want to take that out because it's a little broken at the moment, to be completely honest. But yeah, all it takes is a Scout with good aim to just run the server like that.
Exactly.
People usually don't do that because it's just kind of annoying, So
it's just do it out of the honor code or whatever,
Yeah, it's kind of a unspoken rule, like.
Yeah, it's like a street rule.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, no, man, you're just a loser,
And it's just like, hey, don't Uber Scout. Why? Just because you don't.
Like, don't Uber the Scout unless he's about to die. Like.
And then the medic's like, all right, I'll just Uber the heavy now.
Yeah, because again, it's just kind of an obnoxious and jerk move, That's really it. It's just annoying.
Oh my gosh, Scout with Vaccinator. Oh gosh, I cannot even.
The Vaccinator is honestly, I don't know.
Stupid. I hate that stupid thing.
I don't know. I feel like even as somebody who likes the Vaccinator, I think it needs a nerf.
Yeah, it does.
To be honest, you know what I mean? Like, and actually, a vaccinated Scout, even on casual, is kind of overpowered. I swear, it is nigh impossible to kill a vaccinated Scout.
The reason why I hate the Vaccinator so much. Oh, sorry.
Just really quick, because I was gonna say, one of Scout's biggest weakness is because of his speed and just how involved with the class he has to be. His biggest weakness is how weak he is, and the Vaccinator, like there's one thing with Uber where you gotta build that up, or Quick Fix where again you gotta build up that Uber and whatnot. But the thing with the Vaccinator is that because even with Quick Fix, like it ain't too hard to kill a Scout, Because, again, 2 good rockets, well, probably 3 in this case. 3 good rockets are, all it takes for that one class to kind of push up on that Scout, and he's dead. But with the Vaccinator, you take away Scout's one weakness, and that's being able to be easily killed. And, when you take away that, now he's just a fast, hard-hitting class. And, again, he's sweeping everything. Like, I can't even imagine how overpowered a vaccinated Scout must be on comp. Because now he's just a complete pain in the butt to deal with.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, definitely. Oh well, better shoot him up with get heavy, kill that Scout or something like that, or a sniper. Oh wait, he's vaccinated, so he takes 25% less bullet damage. So that's out of the way. Well, might as well call a soldier. Oh wait, he's got blast damage on. Sticky spam again. Blast immune or 25% less blast damage. Like it's. Or actually, no, it's not 25%. It's like 25% when he's Ubered. But still, that's pretty nuts when you think about it. But I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I hate how the Vaccinator completely disables my main. Like if you switch to explosives, and I main Demo Man, if you switch to explosives, I'm done. And Varen the same way. Unless you have the shotgun equipped. But most pyros they have the flare gun.
If they're Ubering, you can stack. You can actually stack 2 buffs at once.
Exactly.
So is a pyro and he's got a shotgun? Well, let me just go to fire and then switch over to bullet real quick. There, the pyro doesn't work anymore.
Exactly.
it's just kind of like, like, why though? Like, it just like shuts off a class, like, pretty much completely.
Like an entire, yeah, exactly.
And I
Like
mean, especially
my
for Demo
class,
Man too, because Demo Man is completely centered around explosives. Like, that's his
exactly.
specialty. He's the demolition man. Like,
Right.
he's centered around explosives. Like, I can't even imagine how they do. Somebody's capping the point. Oh, they got vaccinated, they're Ubering. Wow, all like 8 stickies you put on there did literally nothing because they're vaccinated on explosives, and your explosion only brought them down to like half health. Uh-oh, big deal,
Right.
Like, you're basically, I mean, like, for something like I said, with you, you're pretty much no threat whatsoever anymore.
Exactly. I have to walk up to him with my bottle, or if I'm feeling great, my sword. It's just like
Yeah,
I gotta seriously
you're
walk
just
up
a
to.
mediocre class.
Exactly, and it's usually like a stupid heavy or something, and I'm walking up to a heavy suicide.
Yeah, he's got a minigun. He'll probably kill you before you even get the chance to get up to him, unless you're flanking him. But even then, he's vaccinated. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? The only thing you can really do at that point is try to air blast, but that's kind of dangerous, But yeah, TF2. I think in general, I understand your gripes with comp, but I think if Valve really got their crap together with a comp scene, I think you would really enjoy it. Like, in all seriousness, especially since the meta for, in case you know what meta is, to break it down, somebody actually broke it down really good. They said to think of the meta. Do you know what meta is, or do I have to
Like
explain that?
just like the norm.
Yeah, basically that is like somebody described it as the most effective most effective tools available, basically. And tools in this case are classes, the classes that are most effective. Basically it's just tier stuff, But that's how they describe it, just the meta. But your class actually is the meta actually caters towards the demo man. Both of our mains actually, so it actually wouldn't be too hard for you to get into it. But I mean, I really think that Valve, like, if they can really get the algorithm together and if they can really push for it, and Uncle Dane mentioned too, he thinks that because really the biggest flaw with the current sixes that they introduced in Team Fortress 2 is the fact that it's just the ranking system is just so flawed with it and just how it works. And Funk mentioned, YouTuber Funk, he mentioned that they should have like an unranked matches thing where it ain't ranked for nothing. It's just sixes. That is it. It's just no bullet spread, no random crits, just sixes. No rank, no nothing. Honestly, I would play that, to be completely honest.
Really?
Just unranked sixes. Like if Valve had a sixes mode that like it was unranked, it was just out there, I would play that and I would never play casual ever again. Seriously. Like, I would be done with casual at that point. Because again, it's a very team focused environment, and I mean, those few moments where we had like a minimum amount of people in a casual server and we were working together doing call outs and whatnot, like, I mean, you've seen it yourself. It actually worked out, and we tended to actually get the objective done and overthrow the other team. So I mean, you've seen it yourself. It works, and I think it worked in a more serious environment. I understand that you really don't want to do the teams thing and the scheduling for events and all that. I understand that because people actually refer to TF2's casual or competitive as casual competitive. Like, if TF2 had a casual competitive scene, like, I think that would work out. Because I mean, it's competitive, but with without all the stress. I mean, of course, you have to communicate towards the team, but I mean, it's Team Fortress 2, so what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Right.
But at least that's the way I see it. I mean, do you have any thoughts on what I said? Because I know I've been going for quite a while about TF2's sixes and whatnot.
Well, not really. I mean, if I did, I would just kind of be like, wease myself in there. But I don't really have anything to say.
Yeah, me. I don't like to like just run the show like that. You know me. I don't
Yeah,
like
but
to
I'm just like,
talk all that much.
but I know you're educated, so I always like kind of let you talk a little bit more than I do because I'm not as educated as you are. And I want to, most of the time
Hey,
I
you don't
don't.
have to
Well,
put me up there like that, man.
I mean, sometimes I know what I'm talking about, but other times when like some subjects come into play, I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know anything about that." especially when it comes to like in-depth video game stuff. Because I don't really search under the like. I just look at the grass. I don't dig into the dirt. But
So,
yeah, TF2
I'm
is
sorry.
just like, you know, if I would ever get back into competitive, my first game would be TF2, definitely.
Okay, that's cool. And yeah, you don't have any other competitive games. It's just like just TF2 and Call of Duty, right? And Smash
Uh,
Bros to a degree.
like Smash Bros is more like just friend rivalry,
Yeah,
but
it's a really casual competitive thing with you. Which again,
uh,
like with all podcasts, we have an infinite amount of leniency with it. You can stretch to any level of competition you want. To be completely honest.
actually, hang on. There was a game I played super seriously. It was a fighting game. It was Soul Calibur
Ooh.
4 and 5. Those games I played like super because like I would play them,
Uh
and
huh.
then I found out you could play online, and I started playing online. And after this is the turning point of when I went from just casually playing to like super competitive and super serious. This is the only game that I ever got super serious about. It was it was one time I was playing, and it was just this a hole of a person. He just kept like, and I was a kid, and
Uh huh.
so like I let these negative people get near me and like get to me. So he was just calling me out. He was calling me like I was trash or whatever, and saying, "Oh, why are you even playing this game?" And then I played as my favorite character, and then he was like, "Oh, you ain't allowed to play as Nightmare." And he played as Nightmare, and he whooped my butt. So ever since that, like after that, he left and I left, and then like, all right, I'm done. So like, I'm done with these people. So I just binge played it on practice mode, and I
Oh
learned
boy.
every single combo for like 3 characters, and I started dominating everything because I was so determined to just be the best. So if anybody tries to be all like that, I'll just switch to one of 3 of those characters, and ooh, I burped, and I would just whoop them. That was when I became competitive. But then I would still play casually. But
Yeah.
if there's that one guy that plays that one person and he spams it, or he's talking all that mess because he thinks he's good, I would switch to either Nightmare, Darth Vader, or Young Sung, and I would be just like bam, I'd just kill him. Especially if it was Darth Vader, because I love Darth Vader because you can like force choke him or whatever. You can do whatever. And then
Darth
when
Vader,
5 rolled
Soul
around,
Calibur.
yeah, Soul Calibur 4, Darth Vader was in it.
Ah,
Yoda
okay.
and the Apprentice. It was like the special characters. I think there's always a special characters in the Soul Calibur. There's always like one that's kind of out of place.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I know that
4
like in
was
Soul
Star
Calibur they had
Wars.
like Link from the Legend of Zelda or something like that. Like
Yeah,
they have like guest characters, and all
yeah.
that.
And then when 5 rolled around, I did the exact same thing. The combos were kind of the same, but I lost one of my characters. It was Young Sung. He went away. I'm like, why would you get rid of him? Ooh, voice crack. I was like, why would you get rid of him? And I was like, all right, fine. I'll pick someone else. I generally like the big, bulky characters.
Hmm.
Um, just because my dad was like, oh, I like the small and fast ones. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll pick the big and brolicky ones. And I decided to get good with them. Um, so I picked another one. His name was Siegfried. And, same thing. I went through it. And then, Ezio was on there. And, I hold Assassin's Creed close to my heart. So I got good with him. So I just, like, I got so serious about it. And, you know, I don't know when I fizzled out with that game, but I did. And I never really touched it again. Because, like, after I stopped playing online, I would just, you know, my friends would come over and they would never wanted to play it because they knew I was gonna win. Um, that's why I kind of want to go at Mark with it, but at the same time, he doesn't play Soul Calibur, and the fighting games he plays, I don't play. So like we can't really,
Yeah, for him it's Smash 4 and Mortal Kombat X. So
right? We can't really go at it because we played 2 different types of fighting games.
right.
So like I was always itching to go at Mark, but we don't have a game that we can like play. But yeah, Soul Calibur was the only time I actually like after the Call of Duty phase. It was the only time I ever went back into competitive mode.
Okay.
That was the only time.
Also, my
Just
brother
because
over
that
here.
one dude, freaking, I remember his stupid name. It
What
was
was
a
his name?
stupid. It was a capital X, lowercase x, underscore, Smitty Witty, and then underscore. Yeah, it was Smitty Witty, and I don't know who he was. He sounded like he was from around here, so like, he was talking all thuggish or whatever. And I remember him. I was like, whoa, I don't like you. It was all because of Smitty Witty.
Oh boy.
That was why.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice backstory right there.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was nice.
I was going through flashbacks a little bit.
So my brother's saying over here, it sounds like me in Mortal Kombat X. Now, I haven't really played Mortal Kombat X all that much. I haven't really watched it all that much, to be completely honest. But actually, I know with you and Smash 4, talking to you, brother Mark. You and Smash 4. I know it reminds me Mark's story. My friend reminds me of my brother Mark's story with Smash 4 and how he just kind of plays it casually, but anytime anybody talked any nonsense or anything like that, he would get into competitive mode. And from what I've heard, you've actually been winning a lot more in this whole competitive thing. We've been fighting your friends in it. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know. You can confirm or deny that, or choose to stay silent. Your choice. But yeah. I mean, again, it's strange just how many similarities both Marks I know tend to just have like similar philosophies and everything. It bothers me. I usually win. Wow. Not even a period, man. Just straightforward. I usually win. No questions asked.
Me and Mark are part of the Mark clan. Come on now.
Yeah.
We may not have the same ending. We may not have the same last letter, but we're still brothers and Marks.
Brothers and Marks.
I was trying to do a brothers in arms thing, but whatever. I kind of failed. Whatever.
Don't worry, I still love you.
Yeah. It sounded really good in my head. I'm telling you.
Oh man, I hate that.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna nail it. And say it. I'm like, well.
Yeah, and then like your face shrinks. You're just like. But yeah, so that was your whole story on Soul Calibur.
Yep, on my story of going competitive.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all for me too. So yeah, that was a huge rant on Smash Bros. Huge rant on Team Fortress 2. A huge rant on Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, and, very huge.
That was really big, and huge rant on Soul Calibur. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all the thoughts we have for competitive games for tonight. Didn't really expect this one to go as far because to be honest, I'm really not that involved in the competitive scene, but I'm surprised that really how much both of us had to say in regards to competitive stuff. But yeah, guys, that was our thoughts on competitive games. I am RoberOnocle, and this is my best friend Mark, and we will see you guys next time.
See ya.